welcome to Elite Weather. My name is Mr. G. I am your meteorologist today, and we are talking about that weather forecast for your weekend here as we're moving through about the midday hour on your Saturday, and we're seeing a much better weather conditions this weekend than what we saw last weekend, where we dealt with a lot of severe weather and weather that was particularly dangerous, which cost the lives of several people. So again, a much pleasant scenario this week, a much more pleasant scenario this weekend as opposed to what we saw last weekend. We're outside in Pensacola, Florida right now, and we're taking a look out over the beach where we have some clouds over the Gulf of Mexico with some showers and storms. There's the potential for some tropical development as we move through the upcoming work week. So maybe about Tuesday or Wednesday or so, there is a chance that a tropical system could form off the Gulf Coast of Houston over Texas or Louisiana. We're going to keep an eye on that potential, which is unusual for this time of the year, but not unheard of, but very rare nonetheless, that a tropical system can develop in April. So we're going to keep an eye on that situation. But in the meantime, we have a stationary front in place in an upper level area of low pressure over the southeastern United States that is producing some rain showers, some thunderstorms that could lead to some flooding and flash flooding concerns. We're going to move on with the rest of our forecast right now. I want everybody to leave a like, comment, and feel free to subscribe. Okay, here we are. So we're taking a look at that moisture over the Gulf of Mexico and the southeastern United States, and we're seeing a lot of rain down there across the parts of Georgia and Alabama and into the Carolinas and eastern Tennessee. We're seeing a lot of rain right now with some embedded thunderstorms, especially right along the Gulf Coast. I'm seeing some lightning strikes down in this area. We're probably going to see some lightning strikes flash while we're looking at this, but there is some lightning down right along the Gulf Coast of Florida and into parts of Georgia as well. We're seeing those showers and those thunderstorms. A lot of rainfall right now, and it's going to be leading to some flooding. Could be seeing some flash flooding down across the southeast, and this is going to be some prolonged rainfall through the day today and into your Sunday before all of this activity begins to slide on off to the east. And we're going to be taking a closer look at that forecast as we move on through in just a bit here, so hang in with me there, folks. But right now we are taking a look at that rainfall across the southeast, and we're going to be seeing as much as 3 inches of rain through some parts of western Georgia and eastern Alabama this afternoon, and some more heavier rainfall amounts over the Carolinas as well. So let's take a look at the rest of our forecast as we talk about that warmth that's going to be taking over much of the eastern half of the United States. But we will talk about whether there will be a spot of cooler weather over the eastern United States too. But so take a look at that, everybody, and thank you for joining the channel. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All right, as we move on through our weather forecast, let's talk about those temperatures that we're seeing across the country right now. And we're seeing a cool start to the day today, especially through the plains where we're seeing temperatures starting to warm through the 50s right now. We are seeing warmer weather start to move into that area, but right now it's pretty early in the day still, so we're seeing those temperatures only down in the 50s. We're seeing temperatures in the 60s along the Gulf Coast, and that is mostly due to that cloud cover and that rain, so temperatures are going to be cool across the southeastern United States. You see those temperatures in the 40s over the Carolinas. That's because of very thick cloud cover and some heavy rain, so it's going to be cooler over that area. But down here over southern Florida, where the sun is shining right now, we're seeing those temperatures in the 80s. It's going to be cool in the northeast as well, as we have Canadian high pressure providing a northwest wind out of Canada, so it's going to be cooler there. It's going to begin to start to warm up here over the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest, but today, at this time, we're still seeing a little bit of a northern influence, but that will be changing later as we move through the weekend. Tomorrow, we're going to be seeing those temperatures move through the 60s across the northern plains and the upper Midwest. It's still really cold here across the northern plains of the Dakotas. We're seeing it very cold over in that area because of the snow that's on the ground and that northerly wind. It's still kind of cold over the Pacific Northwest and over the Rockies, where we have a lot of snow and cooler temperatures and a dip in the jet stream. So we're seeing troughing in the Pacific Northwest, and we're starting to see things kind of moderate down across the southwestern United States. Here's a look at our temperature departure from yesterday. Here's where we're going to be seeing that cool off. That is mostly because of cloud cover and rain. So Georgia and South Carolina primarily, we're seeing those cooler temperatures today because of that heavy cloud cover and those rain showers. And we're looking at our northwesterly flow in the northeast that's making things cooler as well. We're warming up across the central and southern plains and into the upper Midwest. We're seeing things a little bit warmer than yesterday, and it's a little bit cooler in the Pacific Northwest because of cloud cover and precipitation. All right, here's our dew points. Our moisture and we have more moisture in the air. It's going to be down across the immediate Gulf Coast, so the Florida Panhandle, down in the state of Florida, parts of the southeast, and along the Gulf Coast over into Texas, where those dew points are in the 50s and 60s. So it's going to be providing some moisture for some of those showers and thunderstorms we're seeing along the Gulf Coast and over in the southeast. And this week's forecast, so that pattern that we're going to be seeing on your Easter Sunday is for that warmth to be coming in off of the Pacific, a strong southwesterly flow, and that flow was extending to the central northern plains. We're going to start to see things warm up across the middle of the nation. We have a trough in the northwest and the trough in the northeast. So that troughing in the northeast will be keeping things cool for your Sunday across the northeast and into New England, but we are going to see a little bit cooler weather across the northern plains and the upper Midwest for another day or two, and cooler weather across the Pacific Northwest. But we're going to see things warm up across the Rockies, the desert Southwest, the central and southern plains, but we're going to keep things cool across the southeast because we're going to keep rainfall and cloud cover in place there. And here we are on Tuesday. We start to see a big ridge fill in across the upper Midwest and down through the central plains and into the Rockies and the desert Southwest. So we're going to be seeing things warm up dramatically into the midweek across the Midwest and into the Great Lakes. The trough gets a little bit deeper in the Pacific Northwest, so we're going to keep things cool and wet over there, and then cool and wet conditions will continue across the eastern U.S., the southeast. Now we're going to have a situation where we're going to see cold air damming, which is cold air that's going to be in place, but it's going to be trapped by the mountains to the west here. So the Appalachian Mountain Range will trap a layer of cold air underneath warm air that's aloft. So we're going to be seeing a lot of rain. Typically in the wintertime, that pattern causes freezing rain over the north parts of the Carolinas and through the mid-Atlantic states, when you get that cold air damming over underneath along the leeward side of the Appalachian Mountain Range. So I'm just trying to make sure I explain what's going to be, why it's going to be cold across the Carolinas, in particular North and South Carolina, because adjacent to the Appalachian Mountain Range, cold air is going to be trapped near the surface, partly because of the cloud cover and that rainfall and warmer air aloft that's going to be going over the top of the mountain. So we're going to continue to see cooler than average temperatures and rain across parts of the southeastern U.S. And then as we look at our upper air pattern, as we get into Tuesday, a long wave ridge is going to be moving over the parts of the northern Rockies and into Canada, and it's going to go offshore across the northeast and to parts of Nova Scotia. So this is going to allow for significant warming across the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. We're going to be seeing temperatures near the 80s as we get to Wednesday and Thursday this upcoming week across the upper Midwest. So we're going to be seeing some significant warming in the West and it's a warming across the southwest as well, as we have that warm air advection coming up from the south. And then as we get through the end of the week, we're going to be looking at the tropics right here, where we could be seeing a area of low pressure developing down here across the Gulf Coast and near Louisiana and Texas and Mississippi and the Florida Panhandle. And we're going to be seeing that increase in rainfall and cloud cover from Texas all the way to the southeast there through the Carolinas. So we're going to continue with that wet and rainy weather and that flooding along the coast. High pressure will build in across the Great Lakes and the northern plains. So we're going to be seeing warmth continue to spread across the north. And we're going to see things start to improve across the northeast as well, as we have some more warm air sliding in there. A little slither of warm air is going to slip into parts of the northeast on the bottom of the polar jets, but we have a very strong subtropical jet coming in off of the Pacific, and it's going to go over into southern Canada, and then we're going to see the jet stream kind of double back or buckle in the jet stream is called a Rex block. So we're going to be seeing a Rex block across the jet stream with that area of low pressure developing over the Gulf Coast. So we're going to be seeing heavy rainfall in that area and cooler temperatures across the southeast for a time as we head through the weekend. Here is our temperature outlook for this upcoming week from Thursday through next Monday. For the upcoming Thursday into the following Monday on the 17th. Look at that warmth is going to continue over the eastern half of the United States, and that cool will continue over the west. So definitely a change in the weather pattern for drier across the eastern United States. And we're going to be seeing that spring warm. I'm going to step off camera so you can see this here just for a second. Here we are with that spring warm up across the nation's midsection, and particularly the northern plains and the Great Lakes. We're going to be seeing a nice stretch for about 7 days of above average temperatures in the 70s and 80s. There might even be a straight 90 down across the central plains, so we're definitely starting to see some unusual weather for this time of the year. And as we move on, here is a look at some temperatures that we're going to be seeing warming up across the Rockies in the southwest. Look at that Phoenix down there at 98 degrees as we head into Monday, and then a high of 92 in Las Vegas, 78 in Boise, and 75 in Billings, Montana, as we starting to see that warmth come in out of the southwest. So definitely, we're going to jump over spring and right into summer for some of you folks out there. Now, here's a look at those temperatures that we're going to be seeing across the eastern half and the upper Midwest and down through the plains and parts of the Rockies as well. We're going to be looking at that temperature in the upper 50s and 60s across the northern plains, 74 in Chicago, so a nice warm up there, 78 for Kansas City, 82 in Denver, definitely an increase in the temperatures there, and we're going to be seeing that those 70s across the southeast are actually a little bit cool because it's going to be cloudy and rainy down over Charlotte and Memphis as well. Might have some cloud cover with some showers and some storms in the area as we get into Wednesday. Now here we are as we're dealing with that wet weather down here across the southeastern United States and in the parts of the Carolinas here, South Carolina, North Carolina, through Sunday afternoon, we're going to pick up 2 to 3 inches over this weekend, and we're looking at 1 to 2 inches across the rest of the southeast and along the Gulf Coast. Right here, right along the Gulf Coast near New Orleans, we could pick up 2 to 3 inches of rain as well. So we do have some areas where we could see some flooding, and we're going to be talking about the potential for a tropical development over the Gulf of Mexico. We do have a weak area of low pressure that may develop near the northern Gulf next week. And now I'm talking about near Houston and New Orleans, just off the coast. And that system could become subtropical due to warmer than average water temperatures. And regardless of the designation, widespread rain is likely. We're already seeing that rain, and that rain is going to continue through most of this week. All right, here is a look at the surface right now that we're seeing on your Saturday. This morning, we're seeing those showers out there, and we saw those rain showers along the Gulf Coast there, New Orleans, and through parts of Alabama and Mississippi, and into North Georgia, and then those showers spread on over into the Carolinas. And then later today, we are going. Well, this already passed, so let's keep on moving. And today is Saturday. Um, all right, so okay, we've already saw them showers. We're not going to talk about something that's already happened. Okay, so now we are moving through this afternoon. So about 3:30 today, we're going to be seeing a line of showers and storms right along the Gulf Coast here, as there is a weak frontal boundary in the area. So we're going to be seeing a line of showers and storms here and there in Pensacola right now. So we will be seeing those showers coming through that area this afternoon. Remember at the beginning of the video, we were looking at the beach on Pensacola. There's that line of showers that's going to come through that area this afternoon. And we're looking at that heavy rain through the Carolinas, so North and South Carolina and North Georgia. We're seeing that heavy rainfall this afternoon. And we will get our clicker to work. Okay, there's our clicker working. Tomorrow, a lot of that rain starts to move on off to the east. We're seeing it head out on over to the Atlantic. There will still be a few showers over North Carolina, and maybe a spotty shower or two along the Gulf Coast as that area of low pressure begins to take shape as we move into the week. Here we are as we're looking at our rain forecast, and we will be seeing heavy rain in Florida, especially along the west coast of Florida, where we can pick up 3 to 5 inches of rain here in central Florida, just to the east of Orlando and Jacksonville. We can pick up 2 to 3 inches of rain all the way down to Miami, Fort Lauderdale. 2 to 3 inches of rain is going to be possible. West Florida, we can see 1 to 2 inches of rainfall generally, but we will be seeing a period of wet weather for the state of Florida. And Florida needs the rainfall because there's been a little bit of a drought situation this winter. So they can definitely use some rainfall. I'm going to step off camera again so you can take a look at the potential up there of our current water temperatures. We're looking at those water temperatures in the mid to upper 70s right now, which is a little bit above normal for this time of the year. And that's going to lead to that increased possibility of a tropical system being able to develop down over the Gulf of Mexico, as we're seeing slightly warmer than average water temperatures. And we are in the middle of a developing El Nino that is shaping up to be possibly a really powerful El Nino. So we're looking at, we could be dealing with a strong El Nino by the time we get to next winter. So we will be dealing with the ramifications of that, but we are seeing those increasing water temperatures over the Gulf of Mexico. My name is Mr. G. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe.